In a world that often values perfection, it's easy to fall into the trap of constantly striving for an unattainable ideal. Whether it's in our work, relationships, or personal growth, the desire to be flawless can feel overwhelming. We fear that imperfection will lead to failure or that it will expose our inadequacies. But what if true peace lies not in chasing perfection, but in accepting imperfection and embracing progress instead? Marcus Aurelius provides a powerful reminder in his writing. You could be good today, but instead you choose tomorrow. Stop deferring. This quote speaks directly to the idea that perfectionism often delays our progress, leaving us stuck in a loop of constantly waiting for the perfect moment. Stoicism teaches us that today is the moment to act, not in perfection, but in progress. In this video, we will explore how Stoic wisdom helps us find peace in letting go of perfection, accepting our imperfections, and embracing continuous improvement. Marcus Aurelius offers us an insightful reminder. You could be good today, but instead you choose tomorrow. Stop deferring. This quote speaks directly to the Stoic view of perfectionism. Often, we delay action because we believe the right moment for something perfect is just round the corner. We hold off, thinking that we must first achieve perfection before we can act or complete a task. But Marcus Aurelius challenges this mindset by reminding us that the best time to act is now. Not when conditions are perfect, but when we can start progressing. Stoicism teaches us that perfectionism doesn't lead to excellence, progress does. The Stoics believed that virtue and growth come from consistent action rather than waiting for things to align perfectly. By accepting imperfection and focusing on progress, we open ourselves to a life of meaningful action and growth, instead of being stuck in the paralyzing pursuit of an impossible ideal. Marcus Aurelius' wisdom: you could be good today, but instead you choose tomorrow. Stop deferring challenges the very foundation of perfectionism. It speaks to the habit of waiting for the perfect moment, the perfect plan, or the perfect conditions to act. How often do we hold ourselves back from taking action because we think we need to be better, or do things better, before we move forward? This mindset traps us in a cycle of deferral and procrastination, causing us to delay our growth, achievements, and progress. In a world where perfection is often held as the ideal, Stoicism offers a profound counterpoint. The pursuit of perfection can often prevent us from living fully. Stoicism teaches that goodness and virtue are found not in flawlessness, but in the ability to act with integrity, regardless of the outcome. The Stoics didn't expect perfection. They embraced imperfection and focused on constant progress. The temptation of perfectionism in modern life. Perfectionism often feels like a badge of honor. We feel that we must do everything just right, whether it's at work, in our personal lives, or in our personal growth. The desire to be flawless is deeply ingrained in our culture, and social media, in particular, magnifies this pressure. Everyone's successes are showcased, their best selves portrayed, and we often compare ourselves to those idealized versions of others. But this constant chase for perfection leads to anxiety, self-doubt, and frustration. We are never quite enough, and so we wait for the perfect conditions to act. Stoicism teaches us that progress is more important than perfection. Action, no matter how small, leads to growth. Improvement comes not from aiming for flawlessness, but from taking meaningful steps forward, even in imperfection. Stoic wisdom on letting go of perfection embrace the process, not the outcome. Stoicism teaches us to focus on the journey and not be overly concerned with the end result. In our modern world, we often become obsessed with outcomes, the accolades, the success, the recognition. Stoicism, however, emphasizes the importance of the process. The Stoics believed that growth is found in consistent action, not in reaching some perfect endpoint. By focusing on the actions we can take today, we shift the focus away from perfection and toward meaningful progress. Perfection is a hindrance to action. Perfectionism often leads to inaction. We think that we must get everything just right before we can begin. This is where Epictetus's teaching comes in. The best time to act is now. Waiting for perfect conditions is a form of avoidance. Stoicism urges us to act with what we have, in the moment, and to make progress rather than waiting for a flawless execution. Waiting for the perfect time to do something often leads to inaction, while action, even imperfect action, is what leads to improvement. Accept imperfection. The Stoics were keenly aware of the impermanent nature of life and the fact that we will never be perfect. Acceptance of imperfection is not only part of Stoic practice, but it is also part of being human. The Stoics didn't aim for flawlessness. They aimed for virtue, wisdom, and resilience. When we accept our imperfections and choose to act anyway, we free ourselves from the burden of perfectionism. We can be imperfectly human, yet still pursue progress with integrity and purpose. Focus on what you can control. Our core Stoic teaching is the dichotomy of control, the understanding that we can control our thoughts and actions, but not the outcomes or others' behavior. Perfectionism often stems from the desire to control every aspect of a situation. Letting go of this need for control allows us to focus on what is within our power, our efforts, our mindset, and our daily actions. The Stoic practice is to let go of the need to perfect everything and instead commit to doing our best with what we have. Cultivate gratitude for progress. The Stoics emphasize gratitude for the progress we make, no matter how small. Rather than striving for perfection and feeling frustrated when we don't achieve it, we can appreciate the effort and growth that come with each step forward. Gratitude helps us shift our mindset from perfection to progress, appreciating the journey rather than just the outcome. The peace found in acceptance, the peace that comes from letting go of perfection, is liberating. When we stop measuring our worth by how perfectly we perform and instead focus on genuine progress, we find a deep sense of satisfaction and peace. Perfectionism holds us hostage, while embracing imperfection frees us to act boldly, make mistakes, and grow in ways we never imagined. By embracing Stoic principles and practicing self-compassion, we transform the pursuit of perfection into a commitment to authentic growth. We learn that progress, not perfection, is the true measure of success. Every small step forward, no matter how imperfect, brings us closer to becoming the best version of ourselves. In a world where perfection is often seen as the ultimate goal, it is easy to fall into the trap of believing that we must be flawless in everything we do. Whether it's in our work, relationships, or personal development, we're taught to chase perfection, to constantly improve, to never make mistakes, and to always present the best version of ourselves. However, this pursuit of perfection can lead to frustration, self-doubt, and inaction. The more we chase perfection, the further we feel from reaching it. Marcus Aurelius reminds us that you could be good today, but instead you choose tomorrow. Stop deferring. This Stoic teaching speaks directly to the problem of perfectionism. Often, we defer action because we believe that only when things are perfect will we be able to act. We wait for the right time, the right conditions, or the right circumstances, and in the process, we miss out on opportunities for growth and progress. Stoicism teaches us that waiting for perfection only delays progress. It is in the act of imperfect action that we grow and move forward. The burden of perfectionism in today's world. Perfectionism is often celebrated. We are encouraged to strive for the best, to be better than others, and to constantly improve on social media. We often see filtered versions of reality where everyone appears to have the perfect life, career, and body. This fuels the idea that we must be flawless in every aspect of our lives. But this pursuit of perfection is a trap. It sets an unrealistic standard, one that leads to fear and procrastination. Perfectionism can paralyze us because it makes us think that unless we get everything exactly right, we shouldn't act at all. This leaves us stuck in the cycle of inaction, never fully engaging in the present moment, always postponing progress. The Stoic solution, embracing imperfection. Stoicism offers a different perspective. Embrace imperfection and focus on progress instead of perfection. The Stoics understood that life is inherently imperfect, and so is every human endeavor. Rather than striving for flawless execution, Stoicism encourages us to act with virtue and integrity, knowing that the process of growth is more important than the end result. Epictetus taught that true wisdom comes from recognizing our limitations and accepting that we cannot control everything. The perfection we often seek is out of our control. The opinions of others, the outcome of external events, or the ideal conditions for success, instead of fighting against reality. The Stoics advise us to act with what we have, accepting imperfection as a natural part of the journey, transforming the pursuit of perfection into progress. Shift from perfection to progress. Instead of aiming for a flawless execution, focus on progress. Every step, no matter how small or imperfect, brings you closer to your goal. When we prioritize progress, we embrace the fact that growth happens over time. Through repeated effort and learning from mistakes, reframe mistakes as opportunities for growth. Mistakes are inevitable, but they are not failures. Stoicism teaches that failure is only a result of failing to learn from our experiences. When we make mistakes, we should view them as opportunities to learn and improve. Embrace the idea that perfection is an illusion, and every setback is just another chance to refine your character and skills. Let go of external expectations. Perfectionism often stems from the need to meet external standards, whether set by society, our peers, or ourselves. Stoicism teaches us to focus on what we can control, our actions, thoughts, and values, rather than striving to meet external expectations. We should act based on what aligns with our core principles. Freedom comes from not being swayed by the opinions of others, but by living authentically. Practice mindfulness of the present moment. Perfectionism often leads to anxiety about the future or regret over the past. Stoicism encourages us to focus on the present, where we have the power to act. Instead of fixating on how things will turn out, focus on doing your best right now. The Stoic practice of mindfulness helps us accept where we are and focus on what we can do today, without being paralyzed by the fear of not doing things perfectly. Celebrate effort, not outcome. The Stoics believed that virtue is the goal, not the outcome. When we focus on doing the right thing and acting with integrity, we can let go of the need for perfect results. Celebrate the effort you put into the process, knowing that true growth comes from your commitment to progress, not from achieving a flawless result. Finding peace in imperfection. The peace we seek doesn't come from perfection. It comes from accepting imperfection. Stoicism teaches that peace of mind is found in accepting the natural course of life, with its messiness, its unpredictability, and its imperfections. By letting go of perfectionism and focusing on progress, we free ourselves from the constant pressure to be flawless and embrace the beauty of the journey. When we focus on doing our best, rather than seeking perfection, we find that we are more likely to experience inner peace, fulfillment, and lasting success. Each small step forward, no matter how imperfect, is an important part of the path toward becoming the person we aspire to be. As we conclude today's reflection on the peace in letting go of perfection, Remember that true fulfillment is not found in flawless execution, but in consistent progress. Marcus Aurelius reminds us, "You could be good today, but instead you choose tomorrow. Stop deferring." The Stoic path teaches us that perfection is an illusion, and the real measure of success lies in how we act today, even if those actions are imperfect. By embracing imperfection, we free ourselves from the paralyzing grip of perfectionism. We focus on progress, learn from our mistakes, and celebrate the journey rather than obsessing over the end result. When we accept that growth is a process, we allow ourselves the space to learn, evolve, and live more authentically. So, the next time you feel the urge to strive for perfection, remember that progress is what truly matters. Take action today, however imperfect, and trust that each step brings you closer to becoming the person you're meant to be. Thank you for joining us today. If this video resonated with you, subscribe and share it with someone who might benefit from letting go of perfection and embracing progress instead. Together, let's walk the Stoic path of acceptance, growth, and meaningful action.